Hey you guys, what's up? First of all, loved kicking it with y'all during my first live ever. And if you missed it, that's okay. I'm a Gemini, so I randomly just chose to do that. I've been on here for like 2 years and I've never done it live. So there's no way you could have known I was gonna do that. But I will do more, okay? And you can put in the comments if you prefer that I like announce when I'm gonna do one that day, and I'll do that for you. Or if you like the random pop-ups, I'm always down. Again, we're in the city. Well, we're in the city. You're in the city with me right now, listening to all types of alarms and fire trucks and stuff. But anyway, I was thinking about this. Anytime that you have interacted with a narcissist, anytime you are interacting with a narcissist, anytime you want to know if you're possibly interacting with a narcissist, this one thing will always happen. Always happen. Any and every time you interact with a narcissist, they will make you choose between being around or with them versus your self-respect, your morals, your dignity, your self-respect, okay? That goes for if they are a employer, if it is a coworker, if it is your parents, if it is your lover, if it is your fake ass friend, okay? They will always put you and place you into a position to abandon your self-respect in order to be around them. All right. Now, story time. Let's get all deep up in some story time from my life, obviously. So when I was with my ex, right, there was this one. I was very pregnant at the time, by the way. But I remember him earlier on in the relationship getting a phone call. This is way before we were married, way before I was pregnant, all this stuff. Here's one of them red flags that you don't dismiss. This red flag was on fire for me, in my spirit, in my mind, and I still didn't listen, right? And so we were kicking it, and it became like late. It was like 1 a.m. or something, and his phone openly rang, right? And he looked at it, and he put it down and kept talking. And one could read that as, oh, he chose to pay attention to you and ignore everybody. Or, who the fuck is that? Which is what I chose to ask. Who the fuck is that? Let's just, I'm too grown to not say what the hell is on my mind. Like, I want to know who that is. Who the fuck is that? Oh, that's my ex, my crazy ex, whose name was the same as his, by the way. Kind of like if your name is Terry and you meet a dude named Terry, or if you're a dude named Terry, you meet a chick named Terry. Both of their names were the same, right? Oh, that's my ex, da-da-da. She crazy or whatever. I said, oh, I mean, well, shit. If she feels comfortable enough, I was like, if she's crazy and you don't fuck with her, then why is she comfortable calling you at 1 a.m.? You know what 1 a.m. is, right? Not only that, I was like, why don't you just block her number? And then he asked me, are you controlling? Because you seem like you're controlling. That's gaslighting. Now, I didn't know about all that shit at that point in time to that degree. I was literally getting out of something, like emotionally, and I shouldn't have been in a relationship, to be honest. But, so I didn't even pick up on that the way that I should have, but it did like, it was like, he flipped it on me. Like, you know, are you controlling? And it's like, that's so that I can be like, oh, never mind. It's totally cool if some bitch from out of nowhere, from outer space, contacts your alien bitch ass in the middle of forever, whenever, after you talk shit about them, and you refuse to block their number, meaning you want to continue to have contact with this alien said bitch, right? That's not what I did. So I was like, yeah, whatever, right? But he never talked about her again. So, well, he didn't talk about her again. Fast forward to after we're married, down the road, after I'm pregnant, stomach in my damn face, right? And we're at the library at the end of my block. I live at the end, well, there's a library at the end of my block, right? And I'm like, oh man, I want to go to the library or something like that, or whatever we were doing. But we were coming from probably the library where I met him at, actually. And there was this girl, I mean, when I say like a bad, what we call, well, me and my family call a cat wig. Because you know how cats look when they're all like frazzled, all frizzed up and gross and matted and shit. Some bitches get wigs that look that bad, that it looks like they took like a roadkill cat and put it on top of their head. Hard wig, soft life bullshit ass wig, right? So she was wearing a cat wig, right? And she was just like, she was gross looking. She was outside of the library going like, nah, 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 and yelling. What looked like she was just this crazy bitch yelling in the street, right? But he was like, don't look at her. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, don't look at her. I'm like, that chick? I was like, it's probably some crazy bitch. He was like, no, that's her. And he named her name, right? I'm like, that is your crazy ex? Like, you're with that? Like the homeless woman looking bitch, right? With the bad wig that looked like it got like bugs from like colonial times and that shit. Like earwigs still exist and shit. And he was like, yeah. And she was yelling, and I say verbatim what she said. She yelled out, I knew I was gonna see this nigga eventually. And I'm like, oh, she's talking to you. Oh. And she literally didn't even pay attention to me, which was hard because I was a bitch with a shaved head on the sides, pink hair that was up in these two bun buns, spider bangs, and a big belly in my face. And tattoos everywhere. So there's no way that the bitch didn't notice me. But she was so zeroed in on him, right? That she chased him around our neighborhood. Like, he started running from this bitch. Like, he left me right there and started running from this bitch, whom in hindsight, he told me that he left her because he found out that she was a prostitute. Now, obviously, now I know that he was with her because she was a prostitute and he had a sex addiction and he likes that shit. But at the time, I'm like, damn, that sucks that you found out that your girl was hooking on the side or whatever. Nah, she wasn't hooking on the side. She was hooking probably more than likely because she does that shit anyway and because she supports him. But she chased him around our building, like the apartment building that I still live in now, right? And in hindsight, looking back, that was my cue to be like, oh, first of all, the cue of her calling should have been a fuck no, but it wasn't. It wasn't a fuck no enough for me to actually fuck know it. And when she chased him around the building and I saw who she was and how gross that was my cue to be like, nah, bro, and like never let him in my home again, right? Because at the time, I don't think he had a key card to even like get in the building or inside of the house, or I had the only set of keys, whatever it was. But I should have left his ass out there with old girl, right? Instead, he came in the house and I left back out. And I saw her walking to the 7-Eleven, which is also across the street from my home. It's like the library, then it's the 7-Eleven. And I followed her into that 7-Eleven and I stood behind her in the line just to like really look at her, right? Which really ain't my stilo, because the type of person I actually am when not under the guise of some bullshit like that is I would have just left his bitch ass alone and he would have never heard from me again. Kind of like how we are right now. But instead I stood behind her and no lie, just side note, you could smell her vagina through her jeans. She was wearing like these capri type jeans. You know what, they stop at your knee, but just being behind her, you could smell strong smell of her vagina. It smelled like a combination of piss and like a lot of jizz, bro. Like old jizz, piss, unwashed coochie, and like just something else, maybe I don't know, but it was bad. It was really bad. And she was, all I could see was the back of this like matted bad wig, and she was like just talking to herself like demonically. The fact that he had sex with somebody that does that should have been like straight up like, I guess I'm having this baby by myself because fuck you, right? But that is one of those times where I compromised my self-worth, my dignity, self-respect, however you want to classify that, and stayed somewhere to be with somebody when I really should have bounced the fuck all the way out of there. Alright? When you find yourself, say, calling some bitch, you know, or whatever, or for my dudes, calling some dude up to be like, hey, are you doing this with my girl? Or if you calling some bitch up and being like, you doing this with my man? Or if you did what I did and followed this trick ass bitch, like actual trick ass bitch, anywhere, right? Whether you're married or not, if you even took the time out of your beautiful ass day to follow this bitch, to even, I don't know, see whatever the fuck it is, that's compromising your dignity, bro. If you find yourself, and I know you might need the money, right? But if you find yourself going to a job where you know that that employer is a narc, and they know that maybe another employee is harassing you, per se, right? Like maybe another employee is harassing you or something, and you still go up in that bitch knowing that they're all kind of like ganged up on you, bro, and you compromise your self-worth, it's time to bounce. That's a narcissistic situation. It's at 11 minutes right now, but I'll throw you one more. I'm gonna throw you one more because this doesn't just apply to lovers, dude, or employers. With narcissistic parents, my dad, right? Years and years ago, because I don't fuck with him anymore, but years and years, like years ago, like maybe 7 to 10 years ago, when my son was like super little, I had gone up, he asked me to come and visit him, and he was cheating on his dying wife, right? But he, excuse me, he got a house. I went to that house, and when I walked in the door after driving like 8 hours to North Carolina, there was that, like this chick from his job just like laying on his couch, drinking wine. Obviously they've been fucking, like all of that shit. That was my cue to get up and just like walk the fuck back out the door and go home. Right? Nothing was stopping me from doing that. But in order to chill with my dad, I had to know that that's the chick that he's shitting with, at least one of them, because he had multiple, right? Entertain said bitch in order to stay there that night with, you know, at my dad's house. And pretend like shit is peachy against my better judgment and against my moral code in order to see my own dad. I had to kick it with his hooker friend. And in both of these scenarios, prostitutes are involved. Anyway, it's a long video, but that's just one of many stories that I have of compromising your dignity and your self-respect in order to chill with them. If they mama some shit, which their mama's always some shit, dealing with that bitch in order to be with this person, I don't have to deal with your mom, bitch. I don't care what anybody says. Like, when I marry you, I marry your family. For me, no, I don't, bitch. I married you. If your family's some trash, you gotta figure out who you with. If it's not me, then go ahead and fuck with your family. Cool. But I don't have to deal with them. I don't have to. Understand, Stan? Right? I don't have to deal with them. Alright? So I don't marry your family. And that's another thing that people gotta stop, like, they gotta stop, like, accepting bullshit in order to be with people. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean be alone or whatever, but if being alone works better than sacrificing self-worth, then do that. Anyway, over and out. I love y'all. I know that was probably like long explanations, but dude, like shit like that. Nah. Anytime you find yourself sacrificing your dignity, bruh, it is time to push forward. Onward. Onward.